Countries across Europe reopen their borders to tourists, but in England, shopping for clothes is the new lockdown luxury. China races to shut down a coronavirus outbreak linked to a massive food market in Beijing. Well, border controls have been lifted across much of Europe, easing 3 months of coronavirus restrictions. The EU is hoping to kickstart badly damaged economies ahead of the lucrative summer holiday season. On Monday, all these countries reopened their borders either fully or with restrictions on specific countries seen as being at higher risk. For example, Greece is allowing tourists from 29 countries to enter, mainly from within the EU. The list, though, doesn't include the UK, Spain or Italy. Germany is fully opening its borders for travellers from the EU, although it will have individual travel warnings for each country. France has been opening its borders as well, although visitors from the UK and Spain will have to self-isolate for 2 weeks on arrival.
The number of confirmed coronavirus infections across the world has now passed 8 million. The United States accounts for a quarter of all cases, but the disease is spreading fastest now in Latin America. 80,000 people have died there of contracting COVID-19.
Donald Trump says US drugs agencies have failed to grasp the benefits of hydroxychloroquine in fighting COVID-19. The US Food and Drug Administration revoked emergency use of the drug to treat the disease, saying it was no longer reasonable to believe it could be effective in fighting the virus. But the president, who took the anti-malarial pills for 2 weeks, disagrees and says it was only trialled on patients who had no chance of survival.
People that were seriously ill, they weren't going to make it. Let's give them a little hydroxy, and then they don't make it, and they say, oh, wow, maybe the president was wrong. All I know is that we've had some tremendous reports. I've had a lot of people tell me that they think it saved their lives. You know, the one woman who's a fantastic woman, the representative from Detroit, she was fantastic. But there are many people like that that say the same thing. So, I don't know, but I took it and I felt good about taking it. I don't know if it had an impact, but it certainly didn't hurt me. I feel good.
Well, let's stay with coronavirus because New Zealand has confirmed 2 new cases of COVID-19, both related to recent travel from the UK. The country declared itself free of the virus last week, lifted all social distancing measures, except the borders were closed. It had warned that new cases may emerge in the future because returning New Zealanders can come back into the country. They do have to go into quarantine, but they can still come back.
Former Tory leader William Hague says lockdown is an economic catastrophe as he calls for the 2-metre social distancing rule to be scrapped.
Queues at the shops, people flocked to England's high streets and retail parks as those non-essential retailers reopened. But will shoppers feel confident enough to keep it up?
A moment of sporting history as Royal Ascot begins today. The Queen won't be in the stands for the first time since World War II, as flat racing's biggest meeting takes place without crowds.
Good morning from the hustle and bustle of New Covent Garden Flower Market. Open for the first time yesterday since lockdown. It's also British Flowers Week and we're surrounded by them. They're beautiful, which is...
Daily Telegraph today, the former Conservative Foreign Secretary William Hague is predicting, as Naga was talking about earlier, an economic catastrophe as a result of the lockdown. He says it's led to increasing inequality, social tension and unaffordable debt. And he's talking about a policy of mass testing.
The Times leads with a study that suggests 2 million children have done little or no schoolwork at home during the pandemic. The paper says it threatens the educational development of a generation of children. And the Belfast Telegraph leads with changes to lockdown rules in Northern Ireland after the Stormont executive confirmed that hotels, bars, restaurants and cafes can begin to reopen from the 3rd of July on the condition that the spread of the virus remains low.